Hello. In the previous lesson, we took a template. Using files provided, we set up this lovely, well, the beginnings of a website. So it's going to be very similar to this image here. If you're not at this point, you can look back on my previous video and follow the instructions on there. If you are at this point, we're going to continue today with changing the links and also sorting out the sidebar. We might also reduce the size and sort out the content, and we're going to delete the footer. If we've got time, we'll sort out the header as well, or we can leave that for a next lesson. To get started, first of all, I think we're going to get rid of the footer straight away. So I'm going to go out to live view here, scroll down right to the bottom, and here I'm going to try and, so I'm in the footer. So now can I have the option of deleting? Or better still, if I click on this, I can just press delete on my keyboard, and voila, no more footer. Goodbye footer, we don't need you. Bit harsh you might say, but yes. Now we're going to have a look at the content. Let's have a look at the preview. We can see here we've got these sections here. I'm not quite sure how big this border is. Let's find out. Go into Photoshop. Here's the image provided in your folder. Where is it? It's in the sleek red folder, Images, Preview. So now, just to get an idea, I'm just going to click and drag from one side to the other. Edit, copy. So I got a new layer here. I'll go into background and try that again. Copy, my mistake. So now I can go to File, New, and by default what this will do, it'll make note of the section I've copied and apply the measurements onto here. So I can see this is about, on average, about 680. I'll say 680 because the 6 pixels are added by the border there. So we'll say 680 in width. Nice handy way of finding out. So I'm going to put my cursor in here, which allows me to click on content in the CS rules. Go to box. Now in the previous lesson we set it to 700. So I'm going to 680. Oop. So it looks a bit thinner. And also another thing we're going to do, so I'm going to get content again. Pressed enter a bit too abruptly there. I'm also going to add a margin. Now if we look back to the layout image, we've got a bit of space here, so it's being pushed out. So we're going to do the same. We're going to push the content out a little bit. Also, you notice here we've got a bit of a space at the top. So let's have a look in Dreamweaver. So we've got no such space at the top here. So I'm just pondering at the moment whether to add that through the header or whether I should add it at the bottom of this. I think it would be easier because both the menu here and the content are both being pushed equally. I'll leave it to this menu bar to do the pushing around for us. So we'll ignore that space for now. We just want to focus on this little space here. So back into Dreamweaver. So now we're going to add a margin. So we're going to add it, I think it's to the left hand side there. So we don't want same for all. We're going to untick that. Set this at 10. That's done a nice little space there, but I'm just wondering if it's enough, and I keep pressing enter a bit too abruptly, sorry. Let's see, is 10 enough? No, we've got a bit more space there, so let's double it, 20, apply. That looks a lot better. Maybe a bit too thick. Let's click on live. Ooh, I can't do it whilst I'm in this window, so I'm going to click OK, then go live. We're trying to get it to resemble this image as much as possible. Bit too much. Okay, go out to live, go to content, and see, box, and let's change this to 15. I think that's just about right. It's a little less than 20, a bit more than 10. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to leave this as it is for now. So now we're going to work with the sidebar. First of all, we don't want all this text, so I'm going to highlight it, click and drag to highlight it, and go press delete on my keyboard. So that's gone. Now, with each one of these linked images, we can see if I just click on link 1, we've got this background color. This is using the list CS rule. Now this could get quite complicated. So I'm going to click all here, just to have a look at what rules we've got for the list. It usually contains URL or OL. And also we have LI. URL is unorganized list. OL is organized list. And of course the LI is the actual list. So the URL, if I click around here, actually I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So we've got the sidebar. If I click on URL nav, it works with all this section. This is all a list. So the LI is actually the individual little sections. There's even a rule for listed and also for hover, active and focus. This is controlled by when our mouse hovers or when the link's activated or whether it's in focus. Well, we want it to be similar. So let's look at the live view, will it? So yeah, here's the live view. So if I click on it, so change colour when I hover over it. So let's go out of live for now. First of all, I need to sort out the dimensions of these links, and also I'm going to change the colour. So let's go back to our image. We can see it's white, and it's determined by this bar here. So I'm going to go into Photoshop, File, Open, and actually let's go to the folder with all our images. It's easier that way. So we've got the left menu link. So I'm going to right click on that, Open. Let's open it up in Photoshop. You could do the open and navigate to it, but I'm going to be a bit lazy. Okay, this is done as a slit. Let's try opening up the link background. Okay. By the looks of it, they're doing the same thing as the background image, they're just doing it in a slit. So we're going to have to try and do a guesstimate. Oh, no, we don't have to do a guesstimate. We can just select the area. Go zoom in. What I'm doing, I've got the ruler here. If you want to turn the ruler on, you go to View and make sure that is ticked, or press Ctrl and R, just in case you don't have what I've got on the screen here. Sorry, that's just lagging a bit there. Now I can click and drag. Click and drag from my ruler and produce a line. Just put it as close to the edge as I can. Ooh. Please ignore the dog barking there. That scared me a moment there. Try and click and drag. A bit tricky. Trying to snap to that. Go right click, deselect it. Get the move tool. There we go. It's no longer snapping to anything because there's nothing selected. Just see a hint. Well, actually, I could place it there so I get an idea of the size. And let's just pop one there. Really, we just want the width of this. So I'm going to get my selector tool, and you see my selector tool snaps nicely to here. So now I can edit, copy, file, new, and we can determine the width. The width's about 204, but I like to keep it as a round number. So let's go 200. May not, you could be exact if you want by going 204, but I'm a bit fussy that way. Oop, press OK. Oh, don't need that. Get rid of it. Don't need it. Let's go to Dreamweaver. We know we need this to be 200, so let's have a look. So in Sidebar, at the moment it's got a border at the bottom. Let's click on current, sorry. Here we go, width 180. Well, let's double click on Sidebar. You could add it to here, but I'm going to show the long way just so you know both ways to do it. Go to box, let's go 200. We don't need any padding for the bottom, so go to same for all. We don't want it 10, we want it 0. Oops, pressed enter a bit too quick there. Sorry. I have a habit of doing that. So float to the left. Is that what we want? Yeah, we want it float to the left. I'm just looking here. We could push it out a bit. Oh no, wait, that's continued over there. No, ignore me. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's fine. So we don't need anything else to the sidebar section. The magic is all going to happen in these boxes here. So for now, let's have a look at what we've got. I'm going to put my cursor, click on here, and we've got link, list, and URL nav. So I'm going to click on that one, double click here, and see what it's got to offer. So let's look at background. For some reason we don't have a background color. Block, nothing, box. Really not much. I've got this margin at the bottom, so it's just pushing this margin at the bottom for us. I don't really want that, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Click apply, see if that does anything. Yeah, all it does is just ties that up. No point having, in my opinion, useless data that we're not going to use. And let's have a look at the, we're not going to have, actually, we are going to have a bit of a colour at the bottom there. So it might be worth actually adding the padding. My apologies, there's always a chance of finding these, and I think that's normal text and these are links. So I'm going to have to add a padding to top and bottom. So let's do that. So margin top, and 10. Put the bottom back in. Click apply. That's fine. So those are pushed around, so we've got space to click into if we want to add things there. So click OK. Another thing we're going to do, I'm going to go into, click again in here, and I'm going to mess around with the list and see what that has to offer. Now we're going to have a look at this rule. Now with this we want to add the background as a list. We can also see there's this weird grey line. Actually, I want to get rid of that first. So, I think border. Yeah, here we go. You can create a single border. So for this one, the only thing that's been added is the bottom. So I'm going to get rid of all this. We don't want any borders. However, I do want it to stretch out and fill it in with that background. So we're going to go to background. We don't want a color, but we do want it to use the background. Repeat by X, apply, and you see it stretched it out all the way there. But we do want to position this so that it takes up the whole space. So let's have a little refresh. If we go to here, we've got that selected still, so I can go to File, or actually Edit, Copy, File, New. Here, width 200, specify that, and height about 40. I think that's a nice height to it. Now with all that in mind, we're going to go back into Dreamweaver. So we're going to go with, box, width 200 pixels, apply, height 30 pixels. So you see it hasn't done much, and the reason for that is because we've got something pushing down within the links. So we're going to sort that out in a moment. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click on the links here, and here we've got hover and visited. Now we can see that URL A visited. So URL.nav, nav is what we're calling it, just the generic name. You can make it anything you want. You can have N or menu, anything like that. URL unorganized list, and then we have A. A is what causes links. So these are linking to other pages, but we're telling it when you're normal, you're going to look like this. So I'm going to double click on this. Get rid of that awful background color. Apply. That's done the trick. We've also got this weird padding. That's really annoying. So, where is it? Oop, box. Here we go. Box, we got border. No, we're not got no borders. So here we go. The width. Well, we don't really need a width. Let's see what happens when we get rid of that. So what it's done by getting rid of that is telling this, right, you're going to be whatever the list is. And we've specified that earlier as 200. So that's absolutely fine. We don't need padding. So get rid of the padding, make that 0, and left 0. Apply. Well, that doesn't really move the box around, so I kind of like the padding on the left there. So I'm going to click apply. I am going to get rid of it from the top and bottom. And as you can see, that's pushed things about, but it's kind of got this overlapping feature here. So I'm going to try top by 2 pixels and the bottom by 2 pixels. As you can see here, the lines have gone nicely together. I don't see any overlapping. That looks really good. Let's have a look at the type. That seems okay. Yeah, that's okay. But now we've got to change when we hover over it. If I go live, we can see we've still got this color happening here. Don't really like that. The only thing I really want to happen is the text. I like the text changing to a different color. So we're going to mess around with that a bit. So, out of live view, we've got this selected, go and double click. Now here the color font has changed to this F, but I want it to be a different color. Maybe bright red seems a bit off. I'm going to select, you cannot select the colors over here, so I'm going to select this red, about there. So changes to that, apply. Background, you're not going to have a background. Apply, and this is check, box, nothing, border, nothing. Okay. So now, when I hover over this, change, nice red. But I do want it to be out from this horrible grey colour. Now, as we can remember with this, we did have a look at URL nav and the list, and we've messed around with both these properties. We haven't changed the color. The color could be controlled by the link itself. Now, unfortunately, it's rather tricky to get hold of the link at this point. Actually, scroll up. Here we are. You scroll up and down, or alter this so it's easier to see what you're doing. We've got a link here. So if I click on this, here we are. We've got that horrible grey colour. So I can double click, or you can edit it here. Both ways work the same. And now I can change this to white, apply, and there we go. Got a lovely bright white colour. Double check these. There's nothing there. You always have to check, because whenever you create a template in Dreamweaver, it always does and adds its own style to it. Personally, I don't like it. I always have to change everything, or make the code from scratch. But we're going to mess around with it for a bit. So I'm really pleased with how these links are turning out. They could do with a bit more padding. I'm not sure there. And it looks like we've got just a basic red colour in the background here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into Photoshop again, click cancel there, and I'm just going to use the eyedrop on this red colour. Is it the same as we had before? Yes, it is. I recognise that's what we copied before. So copy. We're going to add the box behind, and we're going to put in the rounded corner, just like we did with the container. Oh, sorry, the content. I keep getting those two mixed up. So, unfortunately, I had to rewind the video, so I've got this still in here. I'm going to delete that. And, yes, you probably saw me edit the padding here. Did that come back with vengeance? No, that's fine. Okay. Oh, actually I do want that. So, click on the sidebar, because that's the bit we want to add this background to, and in background, we're going to give it a colour. So remember, hash, then go right click and paste, apply, so it's added that background to it. Click OK. Now we do want to put a bit of padding in here. So what we're going to do, just think here a little bit on my feet here. Yes, we're going to force a little bit of padding in the sidebar. So double click on sidebar again, go into box, and we're going to add a top by 10 pixels. Oh, we don't want the same for all. Just going to delete these, apply, and yes, that's moved things down a bit. Does it enable me to click in there? No, it does make it a bit tricky to click in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try and, we might have to go into the code, because we need to try and get our cursor into the top section here of a link 1. So I'm going to go code, oh sorry, split view, that's how it works. Now in the split view, all you have to do is click on here, and if we look here in the code section, we can see that we've got URL nav, we've got our cursor on link 1, but we want to put it before the whole list. So I'm going to put it in sidebar, click enter on my keyboard, and in here I'm going to put in colon P, well, brackets, close brackets, links, and bracket slash. So you have it like this. Click refresh, and here we have links at the top. Now we want to round off the edge just like we did before. So back on design view, I'm going to click on the box here, sidebar 1, double click. Oh, actually, sorry, you don't have to double click. Now remember, you can either do this by going into the CS code. You need to find, where is it, sidebar. There you go, sidebar. You can either type it in manually, or you can have the property here. Where is it? Looking for here we go. Oops, too far. Border radius. And then we set it to 20 px. Or you type it in manually, just like you see here. Border / radius colon. Those two little dots. 20 px semicolon, which is the dot with a comma underneath. Now I'm going to go File, Save All, just to make sure. And let's preview this. And there you have it. What we're going to do finally, we're going to sort out the links here. Then in the next video, we're going to fix the head and put in the top menu bar. So I'm just going to finish this off, go back to Dreamweaver. Now at the moment, links is running on the general Word code, but we need to give it its own bit of code. So we're going to double click and go back to, where is it? Pull this, oh, no, not rules. Pull that down, there we go. And here we've got type. I'm going to change the color of it to white. Apply, let's have a look. Click OK, just see. There we go. Just by doing that, we've got that there. Another thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of padding so it just pushes the type down. So we're going to go to box. We haven't specified a height, so that's good. So I'm going to untick, same for all, we just want it at the top, and I'm going to do 10 pixels. There we go, that is a lot better. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change this. You go down to properties, make sure you're on HTML, not CS. It's about the most paragraph. I'm going to change it to header 3, so it's nice and bold like that. I'm quite pleased with that. So let's go to Design, Live. And there you go. Oh, just notice that's changed back. Just quickly fix that up. So it was link, I believe. Nope. Get out live view. Always helps. Oh, it is white. Huh. I'm not sure why that's not changed. Ah, here we go. A visited. Probably because I've been clicking those links earlier. So I'm going to change A visited to white. Okay. Live. There we go. That's a lot better. So there you go. Hopefully this will teach you or get you more confident with editing and changing a template and having a go and messing around with all the different kinds of code. For more details, you can go on the following website. Just going to type it in here. www.freeschools.com. And with this website, you can learn more about HTML and CSS. I'll show you all the different ways you can do backgrounds, fonts, lists, tables, etc. and boxes. So if you want to play around, this is a good place to look at.